live in Houston. I'm a stone's throw from 249, and we're in a garbage dump as far as traffic is down there around the Beltway 249. And coming all the way in, that road is done. We rode it all the way up to Magnolia. And when it gets to Magnolia, that town's gonna be just covered in just a dump with traffic. Something's gonna have to be done for those poor people. So I don't see nothing happening. Because it's 1774 and 1488, that road is dug out and it's concreted, and we were on one side and they're working on the other side. And in Houston, they're working at night with the lights. No, literally. We left that down so the meeting and got in the Tomball area. They had construction crews at night with lights. It's like gangbusters. As soon as Harris County joined with it, they put the shovel in and it's been gangbusters. And I've been out there 20 years and I've seen that road, gradually increasing. And it's never been as quick as now. And it's all the way to make.
You mentioned the traffic in Magnolia, and I didn't hire you to come here and say that. I see a lot of people who shake their heads and say, you're creating that. Well, that traffic is there, building, growing, doing its thing. And we're trying to do things to adjust for that and to adapt to that. We're not out trailblazing to say, let's build a road here because we think if we eventually get somewhere, they'll come. It's not the field of dreams. It's not if we build it, they will come. We're trying to spend our money wisely where we think we have the needs, and we're trying to account for the state as a whole, how to get people around. Eminent domain is the last step. The first thing is the ability to try and work with the landowner to purchase property and the improvements that are there for the surface area that we need to put a roadway. So I'll quickly answer the one about mineral rights. We don't buy mineral rights. We buy the surface ability to put a road there. We buy the property, but we're not buying. Property is bought kind of like a bundle of sticks, but we only need the sticks in the bundle that are for the surface to build the road. The property rights remain, or the mineral rights remain with the landowner. On the appraised value and how that works, real quick, you hire an appraiser who doesn't work for TxDOT. He comes out, he meets with you, he walks the land, he looks at everything, he appraises what we will be doing, he looks at what we're hitting, what we're taking, values that, values the land. He then looks at the remainder and says, the remainder is now damaged. It can't be used the way it was used. This house is now closer to the road. That septic now isn't large enough. And they make an additional cost value to the remainder and what it then could be used for. And then that all comes together as an offer. And then from there are other steps. And I'll talk to you later if you want to go into that. But that eminent domain comes later if we can't agree. We buy what we need. Years ago, we used to not have the ability. If we were to leave you some odd little triangle because we didn't need it, we have the ability to also purchase that. But typically, we buy what we would need, and then you keep the rest. You've been paid if it's damaged out for some use that, okay, you can't use it for what you were previously using it. At that point, it's still yours. You can sell it again or sell it to the neighboring landowner, but it's still yours.
I've lived in Grimes County since like '94. I'm trying to figure out where is this traffic information coming from because I don't work. I'm at home all the time. I drive up and down 105 and 70, 74 all the time. I have yet to see anything related to traffic. So I'm just curious as to where you're getting this traffic information. Magnolia dumps, right there, right at 1488. But if you notice, when they before, there's not that much traffic anymore, so I'm trying to figure out where the need is, and I'm still trying to figure out where this traffic information is coming from. Because once you pass out of Montgomery County, the traffic almost goes non-existent. You might get stuff behind a truck with a trailer, but it's pretty much non-existent. Unless you're talking about the Renaissance. During the Renaissance time, it's not realistic information. That only happens for 2 months out of the year.
When we take traffic counts, we take them on a Tuesday and some odd time of the year, like in the fall when nothing's going on, typically in the morning. You can read what you want into what I said. That's not what I said. We take it on non-peak, average daily traffic is what it's considered. It's a weekday, typically in the morning. We do it system-wide. And then when we look at it, if there's anything that doesn't seem right, Why would one road all of a sudden be something higher than what is expected? We scrutinize that. We count it again. We go back and look, see what's going on. It's an average daily count at an off-peak time. That is what that count represents. And if you're welcome to come in and look at a map of our whole area, and you can see the count on every road when that's done.
I'm just curious if it's actually in Grimes County or if you're taking it before Grimes County, because, yeah, Montgomery County is extremely busy on 1774 because they got a lot of people that go to those nice little subdivisions that they have. I don't live in the subdivision.
We take counts between generators. Where one road hits the road and another one comes in, we're going to take a count between there. Then we're going to go down the road. If this road's coming in and this one is, we're going to take a count there too. And we're going to see what it's doing. And you can see where it builds, where it tails off, whether or not it's the amount of traffic when you're traveling that you would think requires us to give attention to the road, like the Super 2 we just built. You're shaking your head no, but I think there are plenty of people in here who would say, yeah, I'm glad you did that Super 2. I'm glad you did something out there because it was. And when I drive that road, I will say my opinion is I get behind a lot of cars, and there are a lot of cars on that road. There's also accidents and crashes and issues as to where you're trying to solve people that are passing in unsafe ways. That's another thing that you look at.
Minnesota, how much influence is the development in Conroe and the Woodlands due to ExxonMobil having on the 249? Growing like there's no tomorrow and all that's moving west. So how much influence is actually coming from that? I know it's driving 99 getting built. How much of that's impacting 249?
If those folks are then getting on 105 and driving to the Highway 6 corridor, driving to Navasota, heading north, heading south, then they could be contributing because that's part of the cars that could be on that road. Do I know what direction they're going and how heavily they're traveling our roads? I don't know, but that's how they would contribute if they're driving our roads and
The
taking those
question
numbers
is,
up.
how much influence is that having on it?
My name's Mark Williams. I'm with the Planning Projects Office in Austin. Often, just a little bit of context. I know there's been a lot of discussion about, well, what's the traffic count here? What's the traffic count there? Is that the right traffic count? In general, the employment growth in Houston is having a significant, is a significant driver to where we're at. That's just the reality. Houston is adding 100,000 employees a year now. Since the recession, it is the largest employment generator in the nation. Unfortunately, to people who live in Grimes County, southern Grimes County, or portions of Montgomery County who like it, a little bit more quiet life, that's where a lot of the growth is coming. Some of the nice subdivisions that you referenced, somebody referenced in Montgomery County, yeah, that's what's contributing to it. And there's more that are platted and underway all the way to the Grimes County line. If you look at the map up here, there's at least 2 areas that have been subdivided here in Grimes County. Whether we like it or don't, you know, unfortunately, that traffic growth is coming. I remembered I went to high school in North Harris County when 149 was a 2-lane road there. Now it's 6 lanes with frontage roads. It was 149. It was 149. So it was converted to 249. So the growth is coming.
It's not here.
Mr. Williams, I would like to address your growth in the traffic. I have referenced your maps, your data from 2007 until 2012. On 1774, the traffic counts have dropped an average of 11%. On 105, the traffic counts have dropped an average of 14%, with a peak at a drop of 16% at your data points. I'll be happy to mail you this spreadsheet because apparently you all are not aware of your data. The capacity on 1774, if it's defined as 6,000 to 8,000 cars per day, and that came from Mr. Appleton, so I only know to quote Mr. Appleton. If you look at your traffic counts and you figure out the data, 1774 is at 50% capacity. And 105 actually is at capacity. And if you put a toll road that dumps onto 105, high-speed traffic coming in onto 105, which is still high speed, you know, I believe you're going to make a more dangerous situation. And I think with 1774 being at 50% capacity, there's a little bubble down there at Cognition. Traffic from Magnolia just quits. You can see by the traffic counts on your maps. It would behoove everyone if you could go back and reevaluate the data that you have and possibly look at the funding surplus that Texas has, pause, and let's look and see what we can do on 1774.
Unfortunately, I'm not from the land of milk and honey. I got as best I could. I'm from the land of taxes and toll roads. I left here as fast as I could. I work for a pipeline company, and the name is kind of like back home. It's like the mafia bought out my neighbor's garbage truck business. They said, we want you 5 garbage trucks. We're going to give you a great price. But if you don't sell, we're going to take them anyway. That's in the domain. Toll roads, I've been there, don't like them, don't want them here.
I know you're in the Bryan office, so you may not know about the Harris County or Montgomery. Is the Harris County toll road completion funding? Has the Montgomery County toll road been completely funded?
When you're talking about funding a toll road, you're really talking about financing it. It's kind of like to build a house.
My question is, do you have the funds to complete?
We've got a portion of it underway south of Tomball.
Correct.
Going to be starting on the
I
next
drive through
portion, going north all the way to the Montgomery County line. That portion is financed, if you
Okay.
will, and that's the responsibility of the Harris County Toll Road
And
Authority.
when is their completion date estimated?
It's probably about 2 years from
Okay,
now,
2016.
2016.
Okay, Montgomery, and you had mentioned that there's 3 sections, and you're still looking, or they're still evaluating a couple of them, correct?
Well, the first section was the one that Mark just mentioned when I was saying the 249 stretch. That first section was what he just
That's
described.
Harris County.
Right.
Okay, I'm asking Montgomery County.
That would essentially be that second section.
Okay, that's still being reviewed and it has not started construction, is that correct?
Right.
So that's, what, 3-4 years down the road possibly?
Well, let me,
No, I mean, answer that question.
yeah,
Is it 3 or 4 years?
I want to be clear with how we're going. We've gotten you all the way up to the Montgomery County, Harris County line.
Correct.
Okay. The piece from the Harris County line going north
Correct,
to Pinehurst.
correct.
That stretch in there, we've got existing right-of-way available. The Montgomery County Toll Road Authority is responsible for that piece. They've got their financing plan in place. They have not sold bonds on it yet. Their schedule is to complete and finalize their final design and take that to contract next year.
So they bought the right-of-ways, or they have the funding to buy the right-of-ways
Yes.
to do that?
Yes.
And that's going to end where?
That will go up to Pinehurst.
Okay, where 149 is going
Right.
to the right, and then
Right.
they're going to go parallel to the tracks into Magnolia.
No, it'll go up to Pinehurst, and then it will kind of begin to swing around
Correct.
to the north around Pinehurst. Now, that's a piece from Pinehurst,
Okay, from
swinging
Pinehurst
around
to where?
all the way to just north of Todd Mission.
Correct,
To
okay.
that spot right there.
Now, has that
That-
been funded?
That has been partially funded, financed by the Transportation Commission. That is a TxDOT piece,
Okay.
so that stretch. And it is along the same track as this particular piece.
No,
As-
not,
as
not,
Miss-
I don't want to talk
as-
about Bryan,
as-
I'm
as-
asking about Montgomery though.
As Chad mentioned, that piece is just a little bit ahead of this piece in the environmental standpoint, from the
Okay, so
environmental
it's
standpoint.
3 or 5 years down the road.
Well, the schedule would be for that piece and this piece to potentially go to construction within about a year or so.
You have the financing then for that section.
Yes, the commission
Is it a
commission
future
put,
toll road or is it a toll road?
it would be a toll road.
Okay.
Let me kind of take you back a little bit, just give you a little bit of context for how we got to this point. As the Harris County Toll Road Authority and the Montgomery County Toll Road Authority were moving forward with their plans for their road, their portions of 249, they, along with other groups, approached TxDOT and said, you know, we would like for TxDOT to look at continuing this corridor to 105.
Is
Yeah.
it funded?
We believe that there is funding in place that,
to
along
Todd
with
Mission?
toll roads,
To Todd Mission.
tolls, would be able to take it to Todd Mission and then finance this piece as well.
Yeah, you just said the section from Harris County to Pinehurst is maybe 2016. So you're buying people's places up and you're gonna build a road that you're not really sure, is Harris County, Montgomery County actually gonna use it that much to get us to here? Why don't you
The traffic,
finish
yeah.
one, finish the other? Because like Melissa said, traffic stops at Todd Mission. It's 1488 to 105. It's 1774 to 105. It doesn't go on 105 toward Grimes County. It's not there. Then you want to know the quickness to get to Baylor, 10 minutes versus how many millions of dollars. It's common sense.
What I understand, the road is a toll road with no side roads or access, which would be no benefit to you. And I think what we would appreciate is if you would just tell us that this is the Aggie Land Freeway designed to get people from Houston to Bryan College Station as quickly as possible, and that you don't really care how it happens because it provides no benefit to these people, none. It's just designed to get from Houston, College Station in an hour and a half so you can make it to the game on time.
You've got a roadway that is going to be constructed, and when that is in place, that does alleviate traffic from the existing roads. It takes traffic that is currently on. If you have traffic that's going to then have to travel your local roads, the benefit then as well is that you then take some of that traffic off of those local roads rather than just putting it all. I mean, we could almost put the shoe on the other foot, and we could be here having folks say, what are you doing for us? Because all you're doing is putting these cars on the roads that go right in front of our driveways, right in front of our houses and things like that. And you're not doing anything to alleviate that. And so that's what a route does, is it takes those vehicles off of those roads. Not totally, you're going to still have vehicles on those roads, but you take a bunch of those cars off that road, which then does assist the local community with not having that many vehicles, that type of a situation right in front of their houses.
Address the engineering of the project where it does have, if you're bound and determined to have it, where it does have side roads and access roads for us to travel on.
On the other county.
Rather than just the toll road, get from here to there and damn everything in between. That's really the essence of what the project seems to be, is to get from here to there and not really the concern about, and if you don't have funds, then don't build the damn thing until you have the money to do it right.
You said it's going to alleviate our traffic. You're bringing this road, into, as you have it, right into 105, right basically in the middle of our county. But you also just said we can't expand 105. You can't be 4 lanes. See, you're creating a, you're saying you're eliminating our traffic. You're bringing it into our 2-lane road. Can you explain that?
Calls are we going to be getting when those cars are trying to go up and hang the left and take the 90 in Plantersville and they're on 1774 backing up? I mean, you are, I didn't say eliminating or reduces vehicles on those roads that then now have another roadway as an option.
Well, you're bringing a toll road out here where people now can commute better to Houston. You're going to grow our area because people could commute now to Houston easier. But you're bringing it into a 2-lane road. With all the growth that can happen from that road, you're creating a huge problem for us.
You're talking about what's going on down in an urban area. You can do things like the 5-lane sections that we talk about now. Those do have more than the 100 feet of right-of-way that we're talking about. But let's assume that we then get less right-of-way along that corridor. We're not going to build on a high-speed facility getting people from one point to another, not in an urban area where there's different businesses and commercial and all those things occurring. We're not going to then just build, we once did years ago, but for our own safety's sake of not putting them back, we don't build those high-speed 5-lane sections anymore. They've caused us too many issues that we have to go back and address.
Do you have concerns about servicing roads here? Because all the growth that y'all are talking about in Houston and the suburbs, which are going to be receiving this growth, isn't it not as much of a commute to wherever, Waco or wherever? It's the growth here that you have to, like Magnolia's in a hell of a fix because they have 2-lane roads. We all have 2-lane roads. That's where the trouble will end up because y'all are telling us there's going to be growth. And you're dumping a toll road into 2-lane roads.
Just like we're looking to have enough right-of-way in this facility to someday expand it if necessary.
Someday.
True.
Well, it
We have
costs a
the plan.
fortune, it costs
We
a
have the
fortune
plan.
to expand it later.
So is there a toll bar?
Less if you already have the right of way because you purchased it when you then set up this roadway initially.
That you had sold the commission court on, and also the small amount of community that got disseminated information on, was there's going to be an economic impact. Can you explain what you mean by the economic impact that's going to be had in Grimes County with the building of this road? What economic impact?
Me, an engineer, I'm not gonna try and tell you economic impact, economic benefits.
That's one of the reasons why the road was suggested to be built, besides safety and the economic boom of Grimes County. I'm still trying to find that. Please explain that.
I'm not an economist, I'm an engineer. I can always find you an answer on that one
So
for
what
how
you're telling
that.
us, what you're telling us as what you told us and was telling us, and the commission court also agreed with that there will be an economic boom. And now you're saying you have no idea.
Well, for
So
one, I'm-
it seems like everything that's been said, there has been a twisting of the words or slanting of the suggested or words or something. I would just say it. Somebody's lying.
you're telling me that I said something.
No, not you.
But you are, and I'm saying, if you want me to try and find you the best answer for that, I will. I personally am not gonna stand here and tell you that I know the answer. I would even want to look, and the best bet would be for you to come and visit with us and let's talk about it.
My name is Sherry Ford. I'm a resident on 304, right next to where the road is going to bypass us, basically. So you are the representative from TxDOT. You've been invited here to meet with us. You could not answer her questions about the traffic. You could not answer his questions about the economic development. Was this just to introduce yourselves, or did you mean to do some business while you were here?
I would love to respond. We have a group working on this project that includes way more than me, one person.
Well, why didn't you bring that with you? Look,
It's-
I've been in the business world for a long time before I became a teacher, and you know what? When I go, wherever I go, and whatever my audience is, I prepare. I come to meet my audience with the information that I'm supposed to provide, and you should be providing economic impact, you should be providing statistics, you should be providing a lot of stuff, and I don't get anything from you at this point.
I'd be happy to try and work with you. I've just met you tonight. Be glad to sit down with you and get you any answer that you're looking for. But I am one person who got an email that said, we're going to have a gathering and we'd like you to come and be available for question and answers. And I'm not going to then be able to bring 24 people from every possible realm to answer every possible question. That doesn't also ring true with me as making sense either, and I hope you can understand and respect that. But I am here. I've got my notepad. I'll sit down with you. We'll write these things down, and if I can't answer them to your satisfaction, we'll do my best. We'll meet together. I will find out the information for you. That's what I can promise you. But if you expect me to have every bit of data on every question that could potentially come up on a project of this size, covering, when you think about all the projects we have in our 10 counties, that I would have all that memorized, I'm sorry, I do not have all that memorized.
These are the exact same questions we have been asking for a year, and they have yet to provide as a community. We have reached out multiple times asking your predecessor for this data. It's not been provided. That's why we're so frustrated. Give us the data we've asked for so we can disseminate it and help people make it.
Part of the reason we're here is we certainly want to be responsive and respectful to this group and this organization and anybody who's has concerns about this project. We could have easily said, hey, busy, got things going on. Thanks for the invitation. You know, we'll see you in November when we have a alternative to present. But we do want to work with you. I apologize that, you know, if we don't have all the questions that are here. Economic impact. Wow, you know, that's often in the eye of the beholder. I don't want to get into all the details, but, you know, a lot of people, Navasota, Chamber of Commerce, have articulated why they think it's important. And what I think would be good, you know, for us, for the department, is for this organization. You all obviously have an organized group here, maybe working through the commissioner's 391 committee, but put together, a list of questions that, you all would like us to address. We would very honestly outline to you all and to this group, a response to any questions that you have.
On the lines of what you just suggested, we have in fact done that very thing. At the direction of our 391 Commission, Mr. Krieger, our group drafted a letter in his name for him to present to TxDOT with that data request that we're looking for so that we can disseminate that to the rest of the citizens, and then we actually are informed and we're no longer talking about these rumors. My question would be really more directed to Randy as to a timetable of when he thinks he'll be able to arrange to get his commission together to sit down at the table and talk with y'all about this project so that we can get those answers and pass it on to the group.
The 391 Commission's job is not to go to TxDOT. Our job is to bring TxDOT to you, okay? And so that's why when you asked me and you sent me a copy of the letter, we talked about this in Plantersville, and we said we want the group to put a letter together, bring it back to the 391, that we could then take it to TxDOT. And then I get an email and said, well, what should we say in the letter? We don't know what to say. I said, here to me are the key points, the bullet points that we need to address. Is we need to have a defined route. We need to know what are the economic impacts. We need to know what the traffic studies and why the project was proposed to us and what are the numbers that it was proposed on. And so I tried to give you that information, and then they put together a letter and sent it back to me, and to be honest with you, they had not had a chance to finalize it, but I'm sure that's something that's going to be on the agenda at the June, I think it's June 19th meeting. It is June 19th meeting. Then we will present it then and say, okay, here is what you presented to us, and then our job is to get you that letter to TxDOT. But the 391 Commission
won't go to them before June the 19th. Is that what you're telling us?
June 12th.
June 12th. Well, there are conflicting dates. Some days, some places say 12th, some
No,
places
it's
say 19th.
It's June 19th.
June 19th
Is the date of the meeting. Is what we set when we were in Plantersville.
No, we set June the 12th in front of
Our job is to bring this group together. That's partly why we're here tonight. Okay? I will get the letter. We'll go back over it, look at it. The meetings will be posted. And again, when we met back with the other people, June 19th was the date that we set, and that's what we're going to publish as the meeting, as the date for that meeting.
Mr. Williams and Mr. Boney, are you open to having that letter from Mr. Tullis sent to you individually without going through the 391?
Sure. No, yeah. This is obviously an organized group, citizens that have got some concerns. We would certainly be happy to take a look and respond to the questions that are outlined there. It would help to also, get the 391 endorsement of that letter, just to make sure that we kind of understand that everybody's kind of on the same day. But
that's forthcoming, but
Yeah.
maybe that'll give you
No,
some time so that we can expedite getting the answers back to the community.
Sure.
Because I hear that you've echoed that you want to do that, so maybe that will help a little bit with
We
that.
also want to move through the 391. We have a great, also, we can do it in two fronts, but the 391 gives us the ability to coordinate this whole road, correct? We now have an ability to coordinate this road with TxDOT. And that is what Randy, and we're hoping that that's going to be a wonderful thing for us, is to have that power where it makes us get at the table to coordinate this effort. Isn't that correct?
you can coordinate through the 391 committee. You can coordinate through the Grimes County Commission, and you can coordinate directly with us, with the letter. The existence of the 391 committee is an entity that under state law we have to coordinate with, but through this environmental process, we still have to also reach out and coordinate with you all and Grimes County and the others that are part of this process. But what I'm saying is it would help, to the degree to which everybody can be on the same page, in submitting questions to us. That helps us because that gives us a common set of questions to
So
respond
everyone
to.
knows that the 391 is our legal protection in our legal fight. It helps us.
They signed in and they get an email address. If everyone signed in,
Well,
then
we
they're
should
gonna
close that.
Where does the funding for the toll road come from? Who funds it?
The Texas Transportation Commission,
Who?
well, the Texas Transportation Commission, TxDOT.
TxDOT funds the
Yes,
toll
sir.
road?
Yes, sir.
Well, why don't they? Hey, we're getting the runaround. If they can fund the toll road, they can fund any other road. 105 road to Conroe used to be small. 488 from Magnolia to 45 used to be small. Highway 6 from Navasota to College Station used to be small. Now they're multi-lane. The original right-of-way didn't seem to keep them from expanding. So why are you saying that's a limitation now?
When we expanded Highway 6 where you're talking about, we had to buy more property.
You gotta buy property if you're gonna cut the county.
Okay, we had to buy
I mean,
more
if
property,
you're-
that's true. And if this group's recommendation is, and that should be a part of your letter, that we want you to look at, you're saying fit it in the existing. I'm telling you that the existing isn't wide enough. In those areas you just mentioned, we bought more right of way.
If
So
you're dumb
you're
enough to spend money that you don't have, spend more.
Fire chief here, and this road alignment is going to have some impact on our ability to provide fire service in this area. What I would like to know from the district engineer, is anyone in your office been contacted by any individual, any corporation, any other governmental entity concerning a preferred route or right-of-way that you have aligned here on the board? You have three choices here. Has anybody in your office been contacted by any group of landowners or any businesses where that road will impact State 105 that will affect where that impact point is? This is a big rumor that is going around.
Yeah.
People are wanting to know.
National alert.
First of all, I'm not the district engineer. Catherine Hale, unfortunately, was not able to be here tonight. I'm the planning director from Austin. So my office has not been contacted by anybody. First of all, I would say it would be kind of difficult for Chad or I to answer your question directly, because through this environmental process, we've received all sorts of input from people. I could say that there hasn't been an effort that I'm aware of, or Chad's aware of, to work specifically with any corporation or anybody like that on the alignment of where we're at today. What's been set has been set largely by the engineers that we've hired to work independently on this corridor. And they're going through the process to complete the engineering. They're going to begin working on the environmental, where we are trying to make adjustments based upon public comment. The public comment that we're receiving is all being treated equally. We're looking at how we can best take a recommended alignment and from the build standpoint and try to address as many people's concerns as possible.
Well, my one concern is that up till 6 weeks ago, we had two preferred alignments. And then all of a sudden, the last presentation we had a third alignment that comes up to the left side of 1748. It was one of probably the 6 original designs, but it was not considered as a preferred alignment in the first 2 presentations. You had alignment, I think it was C1 or alignment B2, and then the other was just sort of, well, this is other things that we have considered. Why is that third alignment that now dumps out at the front driveway to National Oil Well Varco all of a sudden on this page, where it dumps out onto to the east side of Yarborough Lake? That was the preferred number 1, okay, good to go gold alignment. Then the second preferred route, which still came across 304 at the S curve, came up across
Mr. Eversol's place, and just to the west of Yarborough Lake, and comes out between Yarborough Lake and 1774. Well, that one's kind of gone. But now we've kind of shifted as we get across 306. We've shifted to go more to the west and up across 1774 at almost its midpoint. I'm sorry, 1748 through Terry Gabriel's place and dump out at National Oil Varco's driveway. How did that all of a sudden happen?
I guess we're snake bit here because we got plenty of people who were telling us consistently, why are you not looking more closely at that big piece of parcel that is National Oil Varco? And then we've got you now saying, from I think a different angle, why are you now looking at that? We're looking at all feasible things, and I guess I tell you, we're probably looking at that more closely now at the direction of probably some of the people in this room who've asked, why are we not looking at
Yes, it was
that more
suggested
closely?
in one
I
of
guess
the
I'll-
recent meetings that we look at, that you look at Varco's property that they purchased and run part of this road through their property instead of through private property.
Varco donates right-of-way. Does Varco also control the easements on that right-of-way? And if they do, how much frontage road will go along with that right-of-way across Varco's donated property? Because
Who do they
it's not
donate
costing you anything.
Who do they donate to?
They'll donate it to the toll road authority that's going to build the road.
Well, TxDOT would be building this, so it's not going to be a toll road authority. There's not.
how does that-
Let's go back to the Varco thing. Because
Okay.
I want to. If we put a road there, which has become a very viable alternative based on the input we've gotten throughout this process, and we're looking at it more seriously now, then I would say, because we're honing in on where this is going to be. Honing in this area, and we're trying to vet out all the pros and the cons and the what ifs. That does look like a good option for the partly the reason another gentleman just mentioned, and we're going to look at it. And if we have to put a road through there, I darn sure we buy right of way. I don't know who is.
If somebody wants to donate right away to us, we're more than happy to take it. But that's done after we go through the environmental process.
To answer your question in one more way, we've had a heck of a time trying to get someone in that ownership to give us information and ability to know more the bounds of their property and consider it. And so you're telling us, you're thinking that someone came to us to try and sway us. We've had a difficulty trying to get a good conversation with them to find out what exactly they own and what all is on in that property, just like we do from everyone here.
So the answer's no. So the answer's no, correct?
No, no one's come forward to us, no.
I want to thank everyone, particularly the individuals who came to speak with us. It was their choice to do so. We need to be appreciative of that. We thank you all very much for coming.